Down at the ski resort, the bus home is about to leave. Mark hasn't seen his dad and brother since lunchtime. While Mike takes the boys skiing, his wife Mary stays at home with daughter Marisa.
A lot of people we know are going, but it's mostly dads and their sons. And I'll stay back and I'll keep Marisa.
Got you all myself tonight.
Mike and Matthew can hang out, and Mark can be with his friends, and it'll be a great father-son day.
For Mike, today's a rare break from duty and an opportunity for a boys' day out. He and the boys are traveling from their home in the Turkish capital, Ankara, up to the remote mountain resort of Kartalkaya.
By American standards, Kartalkaya is not a real big mountain. It's about 6,000 feet. We'd been there once, and we hadn't really totally explored the mountain, but it was certainly a good place for us to go with the family. We've been skiing in Colorado where you have a nice sunny day and then you see these wispy clouds rolling around the top of the mountain, and that's kind of what it was starting to look like.
The weather at the top was much worse than at the bottom.
The mountain of Kartalkaya is rarely welcoming. And by the time Mike and Matthew reach the top of the lift, a solid bank of fog has rolled in from the Black Sea. Locals call it the Mister. It produces a whiteout, and the ski slope back down to the resort is no longer visible.
There's two different paths you could take, the left or the right.
It just was getting harder and harder to keep sight of the trail.
Snow just kept getting thicker and thicker. We started to realize that no one skied down this hill in quite some time.
We've lost the lift.
I think it's over there.
We'll have to sidestep up the slope.
Realizing that they've skied down the wrong way, Mike and Matthew start climbing back up the hill.
I kept thinking that we would get to the top of the hill, we'd look down and see the resort, the hotel, the wide open expanse, and we just found another hill up in front of us.
Dad, we're so lost.
Instead of going back up the way they came down, Mike has led his son round to the far side of the mountain. They're heading away from the ski resort into an icy wilderness.
Probably by now it's between 3:30 and 4, and it's already starting to look like the sun's going down, and it's getting on towards twilight.
Dad, you okay?
It's okay. I'm good.
Down at the ski resort, the bus home is about to leave. Mark hasn't seen his dad and brother since lunchtime.
When I got to the bus, my brother and dad weren't there. So I figure, the bus will have to wait a minute, but they'll show up, and they didn't.
We've gone miles by now. I just knew we couldn't go on. Matthew was just totally exhausted, cold and soaking wet. We were in a complete whiteout and the temperature was dropping by the minute. I just couldn't believe the situation I'd gotten myself into. I mean, it was like one moment we were having a nice time skiing in the sun, and then the next we were facing this terrible situation. We're already looking at darkness, and we're still not anywhere close to being able to connect with this bus.
Close to exhaustion, Mike and Matthew struggle on through heavy snow for 7 hours. As the temperature on the mountain drops, hypothermia and frostbite become a real danger.
As the bus drove away, it was pretty much that moment when I knew that something was really wrong. And I didn't know if I would see them ever again.
The darkness on the mountain closes in as the blizzard rages on. Mike has no idea which way to go or whether to keep Matthew moving.
We can't keep doing this. He's just done. And I can't carry him. I make this decision anyway. Let's stop.
Hello?
Hello, Mary. It's Wanda.
At the ski resort, Mike's colleague, Major Wanda Villiers, is looking after Mark.
Look, Mary, there's a bit of a problem.
My friend Wanda was on the phone, and she said that Mike and Matthew had not come down off the mountain.
Well, where are they?
Well, we just don't know.
I'd had a lot of survival training. You know, I knew how to make a shelter. So I decided to go up the slope a bit and see if I can find a good tree to spend the night underneath. Just took my ski and wove it in between the branches, put our ski poles in there and branches off the surrounding trees and just wove those in, and it made kind of like a little roof. The lion's share of your body temperature can be soaked up by just laying on cold ground, so it's very important to get a layer of pine boughs underneath us. What comes from the back of my mind, like a ton of bricks, is the full weight of the situation. Hey, we're gonna be out here.
With daylight, special forces from Mike's airbase swing into action. This time their job is not to protect the Kurds, but to look for one of their own.